Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Crypto Trading's Room. Hope everybody's having a great start to the weekend. It is Friday, so we'll see what this weekend kind of brings. But to kind of get started, we last time I ran a little contest and asked anybody that if they could figure out exactly what I was left with after the Ether crash on GDAX, that they would actually win a 30-minute one-on-one conversation, almost like an AMA where they can ask me anything, and I'll do my best to answer those questions for them. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at that. But TJ, welcome. Breck, Mesco, Andrew, good morning, and welcome. But yeah, let me take a look at see who answered those questions. If anybody even answered it, I think there was one person. So we might only have one winner out of one person answering the question, but we'll see. It's good evening for you, buddy. Mesco. Yeah, dude, I'm just kind of getting my morning started. My coffee hasn't kicked in yet. Let's see. Gottfried, Adele Pay. If you're on here, you are the winner. So, get a hold of me, email me, cryptotrader247@gmail.com. And then we will go ahead and get that set up for you, bud. Yeah, so, it might run a little longer than a half an hour, but, I had a great conversation with Marion, who won the previous contest. And, I was pretty excited to actually be able to converse with the viewers that are on here, because I don't really verbally get to converse with you guys. It's just me reading your message and then me responding to it. But Gottfried, congratulations. You are the winner. You said 5,000. You were a little off, but, you were the closest one. Well, really, you were the only one that answered it. So. But basically, yeah, I was left with like $1,090. So let's just say $1,100 on GDAX. And then I did have a little bit of funds left over on Bitfinex, which was about, $4,090. So total of about $5,285 is basically what I was left with after the crazy debacle. But it's recovery time. That's basically what this is. It's recovery time. And I haven't touched those refunded Ether yet. They're tucked away. Let's see who we got on this room here. Asher, welcome, buddy. Thank you so much for joining. Keep Z, awesome. I'm so happy to see these repeat names. This is awesome. Marion, what is up, buddy? I was just talking about you and that great conversation that we had. Sarah from South Africa. I think from what I remember, good morning or good evening, good afternoon. I'm not sure what time it is in South Africa. Stephen, having your second cup of coffee. Oh man, yeah, I'm still on my first. I need a chug. Check on BQX. Yeah, we're gonna take a look at a couple things today, and I think my kids took my pen, but I'll go ahead and write that down. But we are gonna take a look at a couple things that are very important. SAN, yeah, I mean, SAN has done pretty well. It really has. And, I haven't sold anything yet. And we're going to talk about SAN, considering, I am in that position. And this is something that I firmly believe in, as long as they can get the project going and they can get a nice, movement to what it is that they're trying to build. And, they could really disrupt this industry. And this is the type of data that every trader, investor, hedge fund, every whale, every institutional investor is going to be needing. They want to be the Bloomberg of information in the cryptocurrency world. So having all that information all in one is going to be very beneficial. And I like what they have to offer. So, as long as they can get, things going and actually prove that they have a great working concept and that they could disrupt this industry and that exchanges are going to be on board, with implementing, this data feed. I think it can do something great, but that's just my opinion. But we'll see. I could be completely wrong. This thing could completely flop. It could be a complete scam. Who knows? We've seen a lot of ICOs that are scams. Let's see what else people are saying, and then we'll kind of get right into it. TJ, good morning, buddy. Welcome again. Check out ACC Coin. You heard it's evil, and it's going to take over the world. So you're trying to buy in low. I'll put that on my list, bud. I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what it stands for. 4 p.m. for you, Sarah. Well, thank you for joining. I do appreciate it. It's almost dinner time. No, I didn't sell any SAN. No, I did not. And we're going to talk about, some of these little pushes that it did have and just kind of, how I think it was a little manipulated, to be honest with you. I kind of think outside the box. I take things, with a grain of salt when I kind of see things that shouldn't really happen. Review BCH. Yes, I definitely will. I definitely will. And that was actually one of them that was on my topic to review. There are two cryptocurrencies that we're going to cover today, of course, aside from SAND, but we're going to cover IOTA as well as Bitcoin Cash. I don't know if you guys like to call it Bitcoin Cash or not, but I'm still going to continue to call it Bitcoin Cash. So I kind of have not looked at that in a long time, long time. All right, let's kind of, get on with this program, and let's take a look at IOTA. To be honest with you, let's see, was that on my list actually? Yes, IOTA was the one that was on my list, and really, trading, especially if you're a day trader and you're into charting and things like that, you're always looking for these patterns that where the probability is high. And I'm hoping you guys can hear me, because I'm going to just start talking about this, because this is kind of important. And I'm not really looking at the comments, to be honest with you. So, there's patterns that we're looking for, very specific patterns. And these patterns, when they form and you're actually able to notice them and you're able to act upon these specific patterns, there's tons of patterns. You can't follow every single pattern. It's hard to find these patterns unless you're actually physically looking for them. But these patterns are there. And, and I'm going to point out a couple of them that I didn't even see. And I was like, man, how did I not see this? Like, it's textbook. But as long as my chart cooperates with me, let's take a look at the 1 day. Maybe a little more granular, 12 hours on IOTA. All right, so 12 hours. I mean, we can get probably a little more granular just so you're able to see this a little better. But it's hard to spot out if you're not looking for it. So I gotta try to get this position as best as I can. All right, so we look for certain type of formation, certain types, that'll tell us there's a possibility of a breakout. Same thing with SAND, how it got knocked back down, but once it reached that level, and it maintained a level where the prior resistance was a new support, and it formed some sort of not inverted hammer, an ascending triangle, that there's a possibility that there's going to be a push. But I always try to look for these cup and handle formations, because I know these cup and handle formations, they do pay off. Especially if it's a right formation. So on IOTA, I mean, this is a while back. We're looking at July 14th. It did form a cup and handle, somewhat of an ugly cup and handle. It looks like, they took that cup and basically bashed it over somebody's head. Let's see if I can get a little, I don't know if you guys are able to see this as well as I am. Let me enlarge this, get rid of the RSI. So cup and handle, if you can periodically pick these out, they do pay off. So basically, we have a cup right here. This was kind of the high, the 30 cents, a little over 30 cents, was really what it needed to kind of, break down from in order for this to really form as a good cup. So that high was about 31.234. This high here was 31.250. So 31.250. 31.234. So this candle here is lower than the high here. So with a cup and handle, like I said, it looks like somebody just basically took it and beat somebody over the head with it. So that's why it has this little dent here. But, if you were to really take that away, this is a very good cup that it formed. This candle didn't break out above this 31. Let me make sure what it was. 31.250. If this candle here would have broken out above that 31.250, it wouldn't really be a true cup. Then we'd have to kind of look at other levels to see if that's going to be a true cup. And when it forms a handle, this is kind of a long handle, and they do form long handles here. But a lot of people would kind of look at this part, these three red candles, as the handle part. But sometimes the handle doesn't form the way it should. So it can either form down like it is doing here with the three candlesticks and completely come down maybe halfway to form an actual really nice handle and then kind of push back up. Or they can form a consolidation type of handle. Now, in order for this to be a true handle, none of these candles can break out above the previous high, and that previous high was 31234. So none of these candles should break out above that 31234. So if we look at this candle here where we have this T, it basically got to 30780. So it didn't break out above this candle here. So as long as it stays below this high of this candle of 31234, it's still in the formation of the handle, and it just happens to be a longer handle over a longer time frame that it actually built it up. And as you can see, that I can't draw lines while this is enlarged, but I'm not muted, am I? Oh, man. Okay. I apologize. Yeah, it doesn't help when I'm not looking at the comments. And I thought I unmuted it because my son was yelling and I muted it real quick and I thought I unmuted it. So I apologize. Breck, welcome, buddy. Garrett, welcome. Rohit, where are you? I think this thing just scrolled up. Rohit. Siphon X 3000. You like? I know, dude. There was no sound, and I basically talked about the cup and handle formation, and I'm trying to get this chart to kind of load. But really, the cup and handle formation that it had actually formed, and then the new possible cup and handle formation that it was looking to form, but it actually broke out above where it should have kind of corrected from, and it was a major breakout above it. So it's not really forming, the cup part right now. It's really going parabolic, and of course the chart's not loading. But yeah, I mean, OMG is, or I'm sorry, IOTA has gone parabolic from, maybe what, an hour ago, hour and a half ago. You have a wrench, no sound. I know, dude. I know. I apologize. Wasting my words. No, I like to share things with you guys. I like to share what I have to say, and it does suck, and I apologize. Yesterday actually I didn't have any issues because I didn't mute it at all once. The kids were quiet. They were upstairs. They were actually with my wife. She took them out running around the block. But yeah, so this move here is basically what caused it should have broke down from that 61 cents and kind of had a nice little correction. But basically I was talking about these three candles and how they completely broke out, above what should have been where the cup would have formed and then the handle forming. But we'll see what this does over a long period. I mean, it has to correct. It has to correct and consolidate. It's either going to correct to the downside or correct and consolidate. That's really what it's going to do. I mean, it can't just keep going up and forming every green candle and closing close to the high of that candlestick. I know, Mohammed. I know, dude. I was on mute for a little while, but that's kind of what I covered, and I'm glad I wasn't on mute the whole time. But I wasn't even looking at the chat to realize that I was on mute. What was the other one I was going to cover? BCH, and I'm still waiting for BCH. And so the last stream, the last thing I covered towards the end was BCH and how I liked the formation. I liked how it was forming a cup and handle. And we talked about, the handle and where that handle could possibly come down to. And I think vaguely from what I remember, I said, it has to be that 277.45. And that 277.45 was, where are you? Right here at this green candlestick. The high of this green candlestick was where I expected that handle to come down to and form. And it actually came down to 265. So let's actually, look at this a little better. But yeah, it came down to 265. It formed that nice, handle, and now it's been on the up. So these are 6-hour candlesticks. So for the past, the 12 hours that just passed, they closed green, and they closed, the candlestick closed, basically close to the high. Let's just say close to the high. There's a little bit of a wick, not much. The current candlestick is not looking as good. It is red, but it still has 3 hours and 38 minutes before this candlestick closes. So there's plenty of time for this candlestick to actually turn green and still be on an up and possibly have that resistance. And that resistance could be right at 370. 370 looks to be a good resistance. And then, of course, 387 was the high that it made after it completely broke down to 190 and 10 cents was from what I remember that it completely broke down to. So let's look at this a little closer. But yeah, it formed a very symmetrical cup and handle. It did exactly what it's supposed to do. I mean, this is textbook pattern. This is complete textbook. Actually, maybe 3 hours. But yeah, if you were patient with this and, maybe you use a Fibonacci retracement, or you decided to kind of do your own calculation to determine where that handle would come down to. And the simple way I do my calculation is I take a look at, I basically find out what the high is, what the low is, subtract the high from the low, or the low from the high, and then divide that by 2. And that would give you somewhat of an idea of where that candle is going to come down to. It's not going to be 100%, And the reason why I do it that way is because, if I'm trading on my phone, I'm not going to have access to Fibonacci retracement. And I don't really want to rely on Fibonacci retracement every single time to determine where something is going to correct to. If I can formulate that myself and be able to see that, sometimes without even possibly doing the math, just doing the math quickly in my head, to look for an entry, that's what I have to rely on. And, on my phone, I really can't use a Fibonacci retracement to say, oh, this is where it's possibly going to correct to. I would rather try to figure that out on my head. So let's go ahead and just do the math real quick. It did touch that high of 387.20 minus the low. What was the low on this? 190.10 was the low. So minus 190.10. It's 197.81. 197.81 divided by 2 would give you $98.55. So you can take that $98.55 and add it basically to the 190.10 cents, or you can subtract it from the high of 286. Brings it to 288.65. So that 288.65 would be basically where the handle would possibly come down to. And it's probability, and that's what you're looking at. It's not 100%. It's the probability of where it might come down to. So it came down further than that. I said 280 to 77.45 because of this high here. That's kind of what I said. Where was that high? 277.45 was, this candlestick here. But it came down, it broke down below at 265. So that would have been a great entry if somebody was waiting for it. I would have waited for 250. And if 250 would have broke, then possibly 230. And that's what I had before. I think my line got deleted. But 230 was where I had that line kind of drawn out to see if it would violently crash there because of this, basically 2.5 days worth of nonstop selling after it made a nice gain from that $200 level or 190 level. I mean, 2.5 days of selling, eventually somebody's going to get fed up, that bought up here and didn't sell here to minimize their loss, or, somebody that bought down here and didn't sell at 350, 380. Now it's crashing back down. They're going to panic. They're going to say, you know what, let me lock in the profit because I'm in the profit. I had a lot more. Now I don't have as much of a profit. I'm going to sell. And if enough traders do that, it's going to cause a violent crash, a violent dip to happen. And that's kind of what I expected to see if it would get to that 250, possibly 230. But this is so far a nice correction so far. But to be honest with you, if we look at this a little closer, it's a fake out. But it's a nice sustained, pretty good fake out. But it's a fake out. It's going to come back down. So let's see. Let me zoom out of here. Maybe 30 minutes would do us justice. No, Max, I'm not an OMG. I wanted to be. I got a little greedy and tried to catch it at 1. I should have just bought some at like 110. That's where it was. Well, I was trying to catch it before it actually even broke out to 1. And lost out on like 76 cents entry that I had. It got to 85 cents and then broke out above 1, got to 110. And then I was like, I'm going to buy it at 1, and it got for like 101. Yeah, that's OMG was the one that kind of escaped me when I was just heavily trying to get into it 2 weeks ago, basically, when I was really analyzing it on these live streams. All right, so there's a handle right here. Let me enlarge this a little better. This is basically the handle. We're just looking at this on a smaller time frame, so not everything has basically loaded on the left-hand side. But this is the handle that it came down to, that 265, and basically, has a nice correction. This is a very nice correction. It really is. If you were able to take advantage of this dip, if you're able to, buy it at 270, take your profit at 350. To be honest with you, I mean, that's a significant profit there. Lock in some of those profits because this thing can go down, and I think she will go down. I just don't know how far she's going to go down at this current time without really sitting there and staring at this chart and analyzing it and doing some mathematical equations to kind of have a probability of what it might actually do. But, RSI is not too bad. RSI 60. It hasn't really broken out. And usually RSI, normally a lot of people look at the 70 and 30. I'll look at the 80 and 20. I'll actually change that, tweak it a little bit based on what it's done in the past. And in the past, it looks like, it becomes oversold in the 80 or above 80 RSI territory. So at 70, if I was really following the RSI, which I don't heavily follow the RSI to determine my trades or when I'm going to get out and get in, at 70, I think I would be leaving a little bit more money on the table because, and it all depends too what cryptocurrency you're looking at. Every cryptocurrency is going to the RSI is going to be different. The RSI might be at 70 that it's completely oversold and it completely gets rejected. But with a lot of the cryptocurrencies, you have to tweak them a little bit and see exactly, at what RSI are they basically being rejected. And with BCH, it looks to be above 80. It's having a heavy rejection. But yeah, this is a nice correction. Profit taken here, which is perfectly normal. And I commend anyone that has taken profit and locked them in. But yeah, this could come down a little further. So we'll see exactly with the weekend, maybe not as many traders trading this, volume dying down, people taking profits. But yeah, this could dip a little further. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye on this. I definitely want to take a position in this. It's just not the right time yet. It hasn't piqued my interest to the level where I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm ready to buy it. This is the time. Let me get to some of the comments, and then we'll take a look at SAN, and then I'll try to look at something else you guys recommended. BQX, ACC. Never heard of any of them, so maybe when I see the name, I'll recognize it. Made some profits on BCH. Yes, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, I got in at 200, and I ran away at 3. I was like, I'm done. I'll take the 50% profit. Next, I'll put it on my list. And Ark, and I think I said I'll cover BAT today. And I know you didn't really ask me to cover BAT. You were just kind of responding to somebody's question. But I definitely want to see what it's doing. I haven't looked at it in a long time. So if I have enough time, I'll try to cover that. Let me see to see if any questions were geared towards me. Scott, welcome, buddy. Tom, good morning. Thanks for joining, buddy. Several coins are rocking this morning. Yeah, and I mean, OMG is rocking, IOTA is rocking, SAN is rocking, BTC. I mean, almost 35.50 basically on Bitfinex, and I'm sure it's probably a little higher or maybe a little lower on other exchanges. But yeah, it's breaking all barriers. It's making new time highs. Unfortunately, ETH and Litecoin are kind of lagging just a little bit. But yeah, BCH is holding it down. It is. And Bitcoin is just, I don't know, man. I guess you can't bet against Bitcoin. You really can't. So hopefully nobody's shorting Bitcoin, because really it doesn't have any limits, to be honest with you. It's going to have corrections. It's going to have crazy up moves. It's going to have corrections. Some are minor. Some are going to be massive corrections. But, it really doesn't have a limit. It really does not. $80 to $84K. Yeah, you know what? I said that to somebody. Or 80,000. You think so? And not 800,000. I'll look at NEO. But when I looked up NEO, I thought it would correct to 80,000, and that was yesterday. And I forget who I said that to on our Slack chat. But I'll take a look at it, and I do want to cover NEO. I'm not a NEO. I would have loved to have been a NEO, but I know a lot of you guys might be in NEO, so I don't mind covering it. Yeah, don't forget to slap that pound that like button. If you do find this information helpful, pound that like button. And if you're a new-time viewer, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe. BQX is going to be trading on Bitfinex, on Bittrex exchange very soon. That's awesome. My honest opinion, don't miss out. Yeah, I would like to see them, listed on other exchanges. I would like to see SAN listed on other exchanges. It needs to be on other exchanges. It's like, come on. I'm glad it's on Bitfinex, but it needs to be on other exchanges. You had NEO sold too early, but who knew that it's going to go up this high, Tom? A profit's a profit, man. And if you took a profit, congrats, because not a lot of traders or investors, or I shouldn't say investors, not a lot of traders are making money. Investors are definitely making money. If you bought it at $2 or $3, $4. Ark, I think it was you that was mentioning it at $5. And, I looked at it, but yeah, it wasn't something I was interested in. And then, I mean, hindsight is 2020. Who knew that it was going to be at this level? And I think it hit like $41 yesterday. DC will correct me at 4,500 to 4,800 for my analysis. Dude, I hope it gets up there, and it will. It'll get up to 4,800. It'll 5,000. Correct. It's going to have those levels. But yeah, let's go ahead and cover SAN. I think I got to the majority of the questions, especially the ones that were towards the bottom. If I didn't get to them, you can write them out again, and I will do my best to get to it. So let's go ahead and take a look at SAN, because I am still heavily leveraged in this. And I do want to take a position in LTC. I just basically want to get my money out of GDAX. That's what I want to do. I want to get these funds out. So we'll see. I thought when it got to 46, 60 something, it would hit, it would get it would break below 45. So I put an order in for 44.20. But no, this is a nice little up move here of 50 cents, 60 cents, whatever it is. But yeah, we'll see. I would love an entry in this just so I can get my money out. That's really the only reason why I want an entry in it. But I don't want to buy it on GDAX and then move it over to Bitfinex, and Bitfinex is low. I would rather have it be a little higher on Bitfinex, or at least be able to make just a little bit of a tiny profit on it and not a loss, because I'm just looking to really get out of it and stay in USD so I can take advantage of a dip on OMG. Maybe add more to my SAN position. That's a possibility. You know, if the formation is right, yeah, I would definitely add to it. Now that would raise my cost average, of course, because right now my cost average is 25 cents. So if I buy it, you know, higher, it's going to raise my cost average. But if the setup is there and the probabilities are there for a profit, you know, from that entry, from the second entry I would take, yes, I would take it. But right now I just don't know if the probabilities are there. All right, so let's take a look at this. And I don't know if you guys are in SAN. I'll go ahead and try to keep an eye on the comments. But if you are, and you know, you took an early position in this, you know, you're definitely rewarded. And if you took a profit at the top, that is sweet. I mean, congratulations if you took a profit at the top, you know, because it did correct. It corrected nicely. So, you know, last night I was watching this, and I didn't really like this candle here. I mean, it shot up, you know, basically bots or somebody fat fingered it. You know, a couple of times I think it got fat fingered, or you know, the bots were just probably trying to run it up to, you know, trap all the people in and saying, wow, this is a crazy candlestick. I mean, this candlestick went from 28 cents to almost 38 cents. That's a 10 cents increase. So if somebody was to see this huge candlestick and volume coming in, pouring in, a lot of people that, you know, somewhat inexperienced, I'm not going to say the experience, but the somewhat inexperienced would hop on this and probably hit that market buy and cause a FOMO type of buying experience where it would just kind of go parabolic for, you know, a minute and a half or so before buyers are kind of completely exhausted. But, you know, that's not what happened. So it did run up that 10 cents and it came back down and corrected nicely. And I'm glad it didn't stay up there, to be honest with you, because just the drop from that, you know, if it did go parabolic, would be massive. And I don't want to see that. I want to see a nice gradual, you know, move to the upside where it's going to sustain that move. And it's a somewhat realistic move. I don't want to see these unrealistic moves, because the drop is tremendous. The fall is tremendous. And if you don't get out at that right time, I mean, it could correct on you in the wrong way. So yeah, had that nice push, you know, either somebody fat fingered it or whatever, but then it consolidated nicely. You know, it just didn't completely break down from that level. It consolidated nicely at that 30 cents, and it held that 30 cents. And that was really a key level for it to hold that 30 cents. If it would have broke below 30 cents, then, you know, we would have probably had just a little bit of an issue where, you know, she could have really come back down to about 26 cents possibly, but she held that level. She really did. And we're looking at a 30-minute candlestick here, but had a nice push up, and it pushed up. I don't know why this is all screwed up. Let's see if I can zoom out. Maybe a little better. But yeah, it had a nice push to the upside. But it didn't sustain that push. And as we can see, there's long candle wicks at the top. It didn't sustain that push at all. You know, basically sellers or shorts really brought this down. And I wish I could find out exactly how many coins are short on SAN, you know, because that would give me an idea whether there's going to be a short squeeze or not. And if there's a lot of shorts that are stacked up on this, then more than likely, you know, we are going to have that parabolic short squeeze if it starts grinding up slowly but surely. So if somebody, you know, shorted this at, let's just say 40 cents, you know, expecting this to completely break down to 25 or 30 cents, and it starts to run, and there's a lot of people that are, you know, basically got into that entry and shorted, they're going to start covering. And the more shorts start covering, they're buying basically. So they're providing liquidity on the buying side, and that just causes a crazy parabolic type of move. But, you know, that type of data is very important, and I'm hoping SAN can provide that type of data, because in the stock market, there are services out there that will really tell you exactly, you know, how are they stacked up? You know, what is the sentiment like between the buyers and the sellers? Where are the shorts stacked up? And if you find a stock where it's heavily shorted, you know, eventually you're going to have a massive short squeeze, and everybody that's short is going to start covering, because the price is going to start recovering to the upside, and they don't want to be under. So, I mean, having tons of people stacked in a cryptocurrency, and they're stacked in on the short side, I mean, I would love to find those type of cryptocurrencies and wait for that short squeeze to happen, because when that short squeeze happens, it's an easy 200 to 300% profit. But yeah, after it went up, it basically came back down, and when it came back down, still needs to maintain that level of 30 cents. That level of 30 cents is crucial. If he can't maintain that level of 30 cents, she's completely going to break down, and she's going to break back down to that possibly 25, 22 cents, because sellers will basically not sellers, but anybody that has a position in this is going to get restless. They're going to get frustrated with it. Emotions will take control. So if she doesn't maintain that 30 cent level, emotions are going to take control. People are going to panic. They're going to hit that sell button, which is going to cause more of a selling force and cause it to drop even further. But it's maintained it, and it's maintained it in a healthy way, where to me right now, she's basically consolidating. She's waiting for that next type of push, as long as the buyers are there to support it. And there is something that's scaring me about sand. There really is something that is just scaring me about being in this position. And I will talk about that. And it's probably one of the scariest things to kind of think about when you're in a position and you're heavily leveraged and there's a possibility of something happening. And there's always that probability, as long as you have the data to be able to find out what is the probability of this happening. And it could happen. And I'll talk about that. But yeah, she didn't break down below the 30 cents. She maintained it. So we'll see exactly, how this pattern is going to play out, not just on the 30 minutes, but also on a longer time frame. Because like I said, I am looking to hold this a little longer. I'm not looking to, scalp this or day trade this. I might hold it for 3, 4 days, 5 days, waiting for the right setup for the right push. But if it indicates to me in any shape or form that sentiment is changing in the sense of, sentiment between buyers and sellers, not sentiment in the sense of the coin, then I'm going to get out of the trade. I'm going to completely get out of it. But right now it's holding those levels that I would like it to hold. And that's why I'm still in the trade. But when this thing pushed up to 45 cents, actually, I'm sorry, not 45 cents, 44 and a half cents was what it really pushed up to. It was basically bots taking it up. It went up real quick with a blink of an eye. You couldn't even blink and see it happen, to be honest with you. I didn't see it happen. I'm staring at the screen. I'm like, whoa, what just happened? Unless my chart was lagging. But yeah, it went up and came right back down. I'm like, well, that's not normal. Those are bots basically just kind of messing with it. So if you look at it on a shorter time frame, on a 1 minute candlestick, you will see that, it's either bots or somebody fat fingering it, taking it up to that level. And they just get pushed right back down on that 1 minute candlestick. So here's that push to 44 and a half cents. That's ugly. It took it up and sellers brought it right back down. So whoever had a sell order, in the price levels above the 42 cents, 43 cents, 44 cents, 44 and a half, they all got executed and came crashing back down. So there was a big seller sitting there when somebody probably fat fingered it. And then it happened again here, it attempted to, and somebody, was probably trying to get this thing to break out. That's probably what they were doing, because, there were sellers that were stacked up, and we're going to take a look at the sellers real quick. I'm kind of done looking at this chart. And then I'm going to talk about a couple things. Sellers were pretty stacked up. And somebody wanted this thing to go to 50 cents. And let me see if I can pull up the full order book. So, we had sellers basically, and in my opinion, it's one person. But, and I'm sure they're still there. They're still stacked up. Stop script. But basically at 50 cents, 60 cents, 70 cents, 80 cents, 90 cents, and $1, there were huge sell orders of over 200,000. So somebody was trying to get this thing to go up to 50 cents. So they can at least execute one of their orders. But let's see. Oh, no, it's falling off. Oh, no, they're still there. Okay, so at 50 cents, there's 18 people for a total of 226,000 coins. One of those persons is 200,000. The other 17 are basically the 26,050. So that's at 50 cents. If we look at 60 cents, there's 11 people for 202,000. One person is 20,000. Is 200,000. At 70 cents, 4 people for a total of 200,600. At 80 cents, 5 people for a total of 200,644. At $1, 216,265 coins, 13 people, or 13 traders, investors, whatever they are. Let's see if they're at the 110 range. Nothing after that for over 200,000. So it's one person, and there are other people that are hopping on and adding, to that order, but there's one person that's basically stacked up with 1 million coins. Am I right there? Let's see, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and $1. Actually, 1.2 million. So 200,000 times 6 orders is 1.2 million coins that possibly one person has. And this is what I was talking about earlier when, why why sand scares me a little bit to be in this trade and to be heavily leveraged in this. I'm going to try to take a look at the comments as I'm talking about this. But that is why. And there's another reason why. So after I looked at that and I said, okay, there's possibly probability. Remember, we talked about probabilities. It's always about probabilities. That's really the way you got to manage the risk. So when I looked at this and I said, okay, you know what? There's all these orders in increments of 10. There's possibly one person. That's 1.2 million coins that this one person has. If they wanted to, they could unload all of them at once and hit that market sell order. If they hit the market sell order, there's only 821,000 coins on the buy order. So you guys do the math. 1.2 on a sell side from one person, 1.2 million, and then a total of 821,554 total on the buy side. So if that person hits a market sell for all the coins, 1.2 million that he has or she has or they have, they would cause a massive crash. They would cause this whole order book to be completely executed. And this thing would drop to 0.0001. That is the scariest thing about sand. And other order books, I've looked at the order book. I've analyzed, the probability of how many, if there's one person that's stacked up, and it's not as bad as it is on sand. Sand is probably the worst that I've seen. We're talking about one person with 1.2 million, possibly 1.2 million coins, and there's only 821,000 on the order book, but total, there's 2.2 million coins. So there's another million that's basically from tons of other, traders that are looking to sell. But 1.2 million, that one person could actually hit the sell button and they could be sitting there at the bottom waiting to buy. This could be the person. It's one person, buying 1,000. Two people buying 35,000. So he could be stacked here and say, you know what? I don't really care. I'm going to crash this order book and I'm going to sit at the bottom and start loading up. So maybe he has hidden orders, at a penny. There could be hidden orders as well too on the buy side. So yeah, that is really the one thing that scares me about sand and being in this current position, is that the probability of one person unloading and causing this in the crash to nothing, basically. All right, let me get to some of your comments. See where your thoughts are on that. I'm not on mute. Ooh, okay, good. I was like, man, I just talked forever. What does a fake out mean? It means that, you think, traders assume that there's a correction on the way and that this is a true correction, and it corrects to the upside a little bit and then it comes right back down. That's called a fake out. And fake outs happen a lot, where you think, okay, you know what, that's the bottom. This is where it's going to start to correct. There's a lot of profit for me to make. You end up getting into that trade because you think that's the, where it's going to start correcting from. And it might go up, 50 cents, $1, $1.50, or maybe 2 candlesticks, maybe 3 candlesticks, depending what time frame you're looking at. It could have a nice solid green candles, but then it completely breaks down on you. So that's called a fake out. And we'll see examples. If we're looking at something that's completely moving and breaking down, and BCH would have been the best thing when it was breaking down to under $200 to look at, because it had a couple fake outs where, it was completely dropping and then it would kind of stabilize and go up a little bit. And people think, oh, that's the bottom, let me get in. And then it actually breaks down on them. And it's done that several times. Let me, BCH. We'll show you the chart real quick. OMG, man, dude. I was thinking that one was like $5. I saw it at 4 when it was running. I was like, is this a good time to get in? I was like, no, it's not. It's run up so much. But little did I know. It's hard for me to say, Tom. It really is. You could really take a position at any point, but you got to manage that risk. You really have to manage that risk, and don't go all in at the high, because then, you just become a FOMO chaser. Don't chase. But yeah, I said the same thing at $4. I was like, I'm not chasing this thing. But what do we know? It hits $7 and what is it up? Did it even get to 750? I think my computer's frozen. I think the computer's frozen. Okay, but mic is still good. Audio still good. Let me hit refresh. But yeah, it's made a nice run. I don't know if I can play it at this time, to be honest with you. I don't know if I can. Unless it heavily corrects. 775. You know, I mean, from $5 was a low today, basically, or at least, you know, when the new trading day started. I mean, those are huge. Those are huge. All right, I didn't even see this thing getting to 40 cents. All right, so we're going to see exactly how this play out. I am going to keep this chart open to see if it makes a massive run. And if it makes a massive run up to 50 cents, I'm going to lock in some of the profits. I mean, that's 100% profit. You know, if I can lock in some of the profit, not everything at 100%, dude, I'm golden. I'm good. I don't need to be greedy and hope for 200%. Even though 100%, you know, some people might think it's being a little greedy. It has the right type of setup that I'm looking for. So I got to be patient with this trade. All right, let's see if I can scroll down and find some of the comments to respond to. BCH is going to, I'm sorry, LTC is going to move within the next 30 days. You know, I like LTC, man. It's slow. It is slow. It's a great investment if you're looking for something that's solid, something that's consistent. You know, there's something that, you know, will dip $3-4 and make it right back up. I don't know. I feel like, you know, putting money into LTC at this current level and not really getting a good entry, it's like basically putting money, to me, especially in my opinion, it's like putting money in a savings account. Yeah, it's going to earn you a little bit, but it's not going to earn you much. But no, I mean, there's nothing wrong with LTC. It's very stable, and it doesn't have those type of moves I would like to see. Oh, dude, OMG, it's you got to be happy with the profits. You know, Hyman, welcome, by the way. You got to be happy with the profits. Nobody knows how high it can go. Nobody knows. I mean, this is breaking all-time highs. It's breaking new barriers. There's no resistance to it. Really, I mean, the only thing you can do is look at the order book and see, and that can be very misleading, but look at the order book and see, you know, are people overly stacked at a certain price point to sell? And as long as it's not a fake sell wall, you know, for them to basically steal your coins and get you to panic, you know, I mean, this thing the sky is the limit. Well, the moon is the limit, maybe past the moon. I mean, this thing has gone up significantly. I mean, it has to correct. So, all right, let's take a look at this real quick, and let's take a look at this pattern. It had a nice push up, and we're looking at a 15-minute time frame here. But it had a nice push up, and then what did it do for, I don't know how many days. Let me see. For almost a day, basically, I mean, it just kind of teeter-tottered and basically formed a nice little, you know, flag pattern here. And I think I've talked about this one, but I lost all my trend lines that I drew out. But yeah, I mean, it formed a nice flag, and I mean, it just basically teeter-tottered. And of course, that range, and I talked about the range got tighter and tighter and tighter. Let me draw out just a couple of trends. But I definitely want to pay attention to SAN, especially with that order book. I mean, it basically, you know, as you can see, and this is what I talk about with the, I mean, I can look at it and know that the trend is getting thinner and thinner and thinner. You know, I don't need to draw out lines. Let me get rid of that. But as we can see, I mean, it's very thin, and it just keeps getting thinner and thinner and thinner. And the thinner it gets, the more of a nice push that it has to the upside. And really, these are, I mean, you know, you can't look at every cryptocurrency. You know, you really have to kind of, you know, choose a handful and really analyze them and look at them to see if they are forming the type of pattern that you might be looking for, where the probability is high for a nice push to the upside. And this is one of them. But I mean, you know, it broke out, it consolidated. You know, basically that's kind of what it's doing. It's moving sideways as the range is getting thinner and thinner and thinner. Here's a nice push. So, I mean, I can't see it, you know, keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. It has to consolidate. You know, it's going to form another flag possibly, and the range is going to get thinner and thinner and thinner. And then at that point, it's either going to have a nice breakout or it's going to have a breakdown. I mean, you know, those things are going to happen basically. So this thing could have either gone both ways. You know, just because it forms that flag, yes, the probabilities are higher that it has a breakout, but they don't always break out. So you can't say, oh, it's 100% that it's going to break out. I'm going to buy here, because you could be buying at the wrong time. You know, so you really got to look at other variables as well too. But in this situation, really, I mean, all you could do is look at the order book to determine if it's a real wall that's being put up on the sell side, as well as the RSI. You know, the RSI is, you know, when it starts tapping out above 80, if it gets to 90, if it gets to 100, yeah, it's going to have a nice correction. You know, it will. you know, and especially too, if the RSI is dipping, but the price is going up, be careful, you know, because those things should really kind of move hand in hand. You know, when the chart is going up, the candlesticks are going up, the RSI should be going up. When it starts to break down the chart, the RSI should start to break down. But if you see a reversal where the RSI is breaking down, but the chart is not, it is going to have it's going to have a meaner correction to the downside. So NEO, let's see. We'll take a look at NEO. But what is my SAN doing? 37 cents. It did push to 40 cents. So that was pretty nice. As long as it keeps attempting to hit that 40 cents, and as long as it can maintain that 40 cents, yeah, the push to 50 is there, and it just has to maintain the 50, you know, baby steps, baby steps. OMG, OMG, OMG. You're right, Jing. You're absolutely right, man. Or NEO, NEO, NEO. Crazy. Crazy moves. What are you doing today? So yesterday, and I got to probably find the comment. I don't know who was on here, who I mentioned that to. It might have been Breck. Breck, that was you, I think. We were talking on Slack yesterday, I think. I don't know, Breck, if you're still on here. You were on here earlier. But I said, you know, let's see how this correction, you know, handles itself. You know, I would wait for that 800,000 Satoshi to see if it corrects to that. And that was basically right, I forget where that was, right up here. I think when it was kind of, you know, it corrected nicely up here, and then it was starting to flatline right here. I said, you know, wait for that correction to 80,000, you know, and it's correcting nicely. It really is. What is the price at? I mean, it got to $42.93. That's crazy. I mean, Ark, I think it was you. I mean, at $5, you know, I think you bought it at 2 and sold it at 5. Yeah, trailing stops aren't bad, and I'm glad you're using trailing stops. I've gotten burned on trailing stops a couple times, and I've used them heavily. But if there's a slippage that happens, it sucks. It really sucks. Yeah, LTC hasn't had a rally in 2 months. I mean, it had a nice push was it yesterday, I think, or the day before yesterday? I mean, that was a nice push for it. But I don't think it hasn't really had the push that it should, that a lot of cryptocurrencies have had. It's definitely deserving of a bigger push. But, you know, I think Charlie Lee likes to see it stable. So we'll see if that 800,000 holds, like I told Breck. Breck, I don't know if that was you, buddy. If that was you, I don't want to have to search through all the comments to try to find that one comment. Man, I mean, this could correct anywhere, depending really where you're putting your 100%. I don't think it's going to correct down there. Yeah, this is tough. This is tough to figure out where this might correct to. And I asked a couple people yesterday in our Slack chat. I said, you know, what if all this news on NEO is fluffed? You know, and I mean, do you think this push up is really something that it's going to sustain, or is it moving up on fluff news? I mean, I'm not saying that it is, but is there a possibility? And really, you got to look at the probabilities of, you know, having something run up so high so fast. I mean, you know, it's only going to come down. It's just a matter of where it's going to come down to, and there's just so many different places. So currently, right now, I mean, it broke down. Well, not yet, not completely yet. I wouldn't count the wicks at all, so I'm avoiding the wicks. But it's basically, you know, right at that 3820 Fibonacci retracement level to see, you know, if it's going to break down. And that's basically right up here, which is, you know, a nice little bump up that it had before consolidating and really moving up, you know, pretty big. And I'm looking at a very short time frame, so this is not a very large time frame. But let's see if it breaks down from that to possibly, you know, get to that 800,000 Satoshi level. And I think that's what I told Breck yesterday. I mean, I'm still not buying this, but it's interesting. It really is interesting. And anybody that, you know, made tons of money off of this, I mean, man, congrats. That's awesome. That is awesome. That's what I call strong hands, especially if you held it from $5, $7, or $10. That's what I call strong hands, not the strong hands coin. Let's see, you're watching the range tighten up the whole day and you got in when it broke out. So that's perfect. Those are the patterns you're looking for. As long as you can find those patterns, man, like it pays off. You got to be patient with it. That's the thing. And that's the thing about new traders. They're not patient with this. So it's new traders that are really sending these things parabolic. It's not the experienced traders that are patient with their trade and that really, map out to see where it might possibly correct to. Because you really got to be realistic with these things. When it pumps up like crazy, it's like, all right, it's like newbies are pumping this thing up because they're seeing it rise and they're just market buy or limit buy, and they're just buying it. And that causes a crazy move to the upside. It's not sustainable. It really is not. Too many sellers on OMG. Yeah, I mean, it's going to have its breakout, but this is still a nice push. I mean, there weren't too many sellers at, $6 or $5, and then it completely broke out. So really not too many sellers, unless, I haven't really analyzed the order book for it to look at it, but if there were enough sellers, they would have sent this thing down. They wouldn't have had to go up to 6, 7, 775. That's a FOMO. That's a FOMO pump right there. That's really what it is. It's a FOMO pump. And I can see that happening with SAN. I can really just picture it right now happening with SAN. And it's maintaining what it needs to maintain. And I like it. And I like that the volume has increased. It really has increased. The volume was lagging, when this thing was like 26 cents. And that was scaring me a little bit. But as I saw the volume really come in, there we go, starting to correct. Let's see how far she corrects, or at least OMG's correcting. Once the volume really started coming in, I was like, all right, you know what, this could be something good. And this could be the start of something good. And I kind of broke it down a little bit yesterday for our Slack members. And I, kind of gave them the breakdown of the volume ever since August 1st. The volume was somewhere in the range of 500,000 to 1.2 million. And that was kind of the range from August 1st to August 9th or August 8th. And then the volume yesterday was about 3.4. Let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick. The volume was like 3.4, 3.5 million. That's a huge increase from an average of 500,000 to 1.2 million. That's a huge increase on the daily. So you got to look at the daily to get the total volume for the day. But as long as the volume is sustained and the volume today is higher than yesterday or close to it, this is still bullish. But once the volume really starts drying, then we got a problem. It's a problem. So volume yesterday, 3.951 million. So let's just say 3.9 million, or we're going to say round up 4 million. 4 million. Volume today is 3.87. And we still have, 9 hours left just about until this candlestick actually closes. So even though it's red, I still like that the volume is sustained. The volume is there. So we'll see exactly, the next day candlestick, how it reacts and how much volume is coming in. And as long as the volume is there, it's sustained, there is sentiment to possibly the positive side for this thing to have a nice run. But, it's cool off period for it, in my opinion. It's cooling off before possibly gearing up for a run. And please do not take these as investment advice or trading advice. Do not get into this trade because I'm in this trade and I'm analyzing this. This could completely backfire. It could, but I know where I need to cut, I know where I need to sell it in order where I'm not going to be losing money. I'll end up being ahead. It might not be a lot, but I'll be ahead. But do not trade this just because I'm in this trade or there's a possibility of a breakout because I say that there's a possibility of a breakout. I could be completely wrong and this could backfire. And they have in the past. So, but yeah, so the volume is very important. And once I see that on the daily chart, the volume is drying up, yeah, that's going to be the time where I'm going to start really, cashing out 25%, 30%, whatever it might be, slowly but surely. Let's see what some of you guys are saying. OMG failed to make a new high. Yeah, that's 775. But as long as she maintains 7, I think she's good. She has to maintain that 7, and she has to consolidate at that 7 or break out above that 7, but still maintain that 7. And as we can see, it broke down to 680, but came right back up. So there's a lot of support to get this thing above $7 currently right now. Right now, that's kind of the way I see the sentiment. It's that, yes, it's breaking down because of heavy selling, 675 on this candlestick, but they brought it right back up, to over $7, 715 currently right now. So, every correction, every drop is being bought up, to have this thing create new high. So it's still early. This could easily make a new high on the second or third candlestick on the half an hour. $50 a gamble on Bitfinex, high margin. Don't use margin. Don't use margin. Do not use margin. You guys know what happens. I mean, it's not going to happen right away, but it can. You got to be very careful with it, especially if you're new. Don't use margin. Sunspawn, thanks for the fantastic input. Not a problem, brother. No problem at all. I think I saw your name yesterday on Ken Bozak. I was on his live stream. But yeah, I think I saw your name on Ken's live stream. But yeah, man, thanks for joining. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that's joining, everybody that's pounded that like button. And like I said before, if you find this information helpful, definitely, share this link. Pound that like button, let the community know, and I think, the more likes we have, the more that this would possibly get out to the community. And, the more people that you share this link with, and hopefully they'll join this live stream and learn something out of it and be able to make a couple bucks. They're not going to be millionaires. Never go in this thinking you're going to make millions of dollars. Please don't. It's like going to a casino and saying, I'm going to walk out rich. No, the house is going to take your money. The casino will take your money. You might get lucky and win a couple bets, but if you're not careful, the house will take your money. And that's why the house exists, because they take people's money. And that's the same thing with the market. The house can take your money. The house are the individual traders like myself and everybody else. But yeah, 3682. I'm going to try to get to some of the comments. But yeah, I'm going to cover BQX and ACC as well as Next. I do like Next, as long as they can really provide the foundation for other tokens to be created on their platform. And I've talked about that in the past. Really, that's, if you're a long-term investor, don't just invest in any of these coins to hold long-term. Invest in the ones that are creating the foundation. Of course, Ether or Ethereum, Neo, NXT, a bunch of other ones that I could name off, but I kind of forget off the top of my head. OMG, sorry. Pay is running. Is Pay running? Yeah, I'm sure it is, man. There's a lot of cryptocurrencies that are running. Yeah, dude. I'm glad you joined this community, man. It's awesome. It is awesome. Look at XEL. And if, so you put at Crypto Traders Room, to get it to stand out. That wouldn't stand out at all. So make sure they're all together. There's no space in between. So it's just at Crypto Traders Room all together, no spaces in between, and then that will come up. So here, I'll go ahead and do it now. Crypto Traders Room, and it should come out in bold, just like that. So then at least I'm able to see it. But what was the other one? I'm probably not going to have a lot of time, to be honest with you, to cover XEL. I kind of have to go down the list from the people that asked me to cover a couple things. I will try my best, but yeah, there might not be enough time, to be honest with you. There you guys go. Exactly. Yeah, use the at Crypto Traders, and then it stands out. But yeah, if you guys see something else moving, that especially if OMG is moving, EOS is moving, SAN's moving. EOS, I don't know. We'll cover that some other time. But I do like the setup. I do like so far, I like what it's doing. Even though it's not much, it's nothing. It's not doing anything, but I like what it's doing, even though it's nothing, if that makes sense. I kind of see it a different way. But that's something we'll cover at a different time, as long as it doesn't go parabolic and I kind of miss out. Okay, let me get out of this and go to 86,000. That's currently where Neo is. So, and if you guys bought high, and if you really believe in Neo, don't panic. Don't panic, because you're giving your money to an experienced trader. That's basically what you're doing. Do not panic. All right, so I don't know what's up with Bittrex, but let me go ahead and refresh this. Jim, welcome, buddy, but you got to go. That's all good, brother. Not a problem, man. Have fun walking your dog. I'll put pay on the list, but it's probably going to be quick. I mean, if you guys want me to take a look at all these, it's not going to be a thorough analysis. Now, Asher, he donated money yesterday, used Super Chat, and asked me to take a look at library credit. I think that's what it was. I can't remember. I want to take a look at it again. But yeah, if you utilize Super Chat, I will definitely do a thorough analysis. Very thorough. Why am I still in Neo? Let me get out of Neo. BQX, that's what somebody asked me. You know what? It's probably not even on Bittrex. If it's on Bittrex, guys, let me know, just so I'm not jumping to CoinMarketCap, just to be able to find where it's listed at. BQX. Nothing. Who asked me to take a look at BQX? There is no, yeah, exactly. There's no BQX as well, too, on... Oh, there is. Okay. BQX. Bitcoins. I don't know about this. I think somebody mentioned this a while back. Why didn't Bittrex find it then? BQX. That does not make sense. Market. No, it's not on Bittrex, guys. So who told me it was on Bittrex? Help me out here, guys. Help me out. Who told me it was on Bittrex? Or somebody said it's not on Bittrex. Okay, it's not on Bittrex. All right, so, I mean, it's not going to be a thorough analysis on this, but Coin Exchange, hit BTC, Coin Exchange, Ether Delta, that's really where it's at. I don't know anything about it, so you guys might be able to enlighten me, but yeah, I mean, it pushed up. It pushed up nicely. But yeah, I don't know if I would be, if this would be peaking in interest. It's up 107%. 107%, rank 95. Total supply 222 million, circulating supply 70 million. I do like that difference. That is a good difference. But yeah, I mean, I wish somebody would mention this August 5th. And not after it's been pumped up. So, I mean, if you're seeing this and it's already moved up so much, so high, so fast, guys, and I've said it before, yes, it can go up higher, but you might be too late because it could correct, unless there's really, great fundamental behind the coin, more than likely you're too late. Yeah, I mean, somebody should have been looking at this and maybe saying, hey, Jonas, take a look at this. I'm going to say August 1st, maybe August 1st to August 5th or August 6th or August 7th. But yeah, it's too late to get in. Whoever asked me to take a look at BQX. ACC. There is no ACC. All right. So I don't know who asked me to take a look at ACC, but there is no ACC. We're going to take a look at NXT. NXT should be on here. ACC on Bittrex, nothing. NXT, 14%. It's on Coin E. Yeah, I don't even have Coin Exchange. I don't have access to that. So yeah, if I don't have access to it, really, I'm just looking at this really like kind of newbie chart that CoinMarketCap has. Yeah, do not place trades. Do not become a trader. Or I always tell you guys, be an investor, but do not trade based on looking at this type of charting, this type of graph. This is not for trading at all. NXT, I just want to see exactly 1 billion. Oh man, they're almost maxed out with circulating supply versus the max supply. On a good amount of exchanges, which is always good. But one thing I don't like, and so far that I don't see, is them being on a USD exchange, because that can make a huge difference, being on a USD exchange. And that's kind of where I would like to see some of these very popular cryptocurrencies. I would like to see, some of these USD exchanges start servicing them or maintenance them. So NXT, let's go ahead and take a look at the actual chart. Ooh, complete breakdown. AC chain. What? Is that what ACC stands for? No way. I think you're kidding. I hope you're kidding. I hope you're kidding. Wow, what happened to NXT? What happened since August 2nd, maybe? Wow. Yeah, this is not pretty. Especially when you're looking at the daily candle. This is not pretty. Let's see. All right, why did it break down to that level? And this is just going to be kind of quick. This isn't going to be something I'm going to really spend too much time with. Yeah, it broke, you know, I mean, I got to maybe look at it different. Yeah, I mean, it even broke down below the 6180. And that's currently where it is now, breaking down below it. Yeah, if there's no good news, I mean, nothing's really coming out. Yeah, and if you're not in this trade already, be patient with it. Be patient. Wait to see if she cracks under 2. If she can crack under 200,000, I'm sorry, yeah, 200,000, wishful thinking. If she can crack under 2,000 Satoshis, then, you know, it might be a somewhat of a nice play to take a little bit of a position, nothing serious. I haven't really researched NXT to see exactly, you know, what they might be working on. I'm going to assume nothing, or this chart would not be reacting to this at all. Something happened here. Either somebody fat fingered it or somebody pump and dumped it from a chat group, and then they dumped it back on them again. So, but yeah, this isn't pretty at all. It's going to keep coming down. You know, it's already broken through that 6180. 6180 was not supported whatsoever. But yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on this and see exactly what she does and see if she breaks 2. But that might be a better opportunity to kind of wait for whoever asked me to take a look at NXT. Wait for a better opportunity. Always be patient. Elastic, I think I looked at this a while back. Scam news, NXT. I don't know. I didn't say that, by the way. So now that the chat is actually as part of the live stream, you guys can see that I didn't say it. I just repeated what somebody typed out. All right, so Elastic, where are you? Bittrex. 100% of the volume is on Bittrex. 100%. Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust this. $100 is a lot. It's down 81%. I'm sorry, it's down 18% today. It's being a dud. Yeah, dude, it's being a dud. I don't know. They need to come out with some great press release. You know, nothing that's FUD. No FUD. Yeah, I looked at this the other day. Whoever asked me to take a look at this, I mean, do you have a position in this? Is that why? Or you're looking to take a position? If you're looking to take a position, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really give me a good setup. Maybe a cup and handle if it decides to form the handle, but nothing impressive. I don't know anything about it. I don't know if there's good news or if they plan on fluffing the news. Possibly. Did they make an announcement about an announcement like Digibytes did? But it is holding. You know, the one nice thing is that I kind of see just from briefly looking at this, and I'm not really doing a thorough analysis. And you know, when I do a thorough analysis, I mean, I look at the chart heavily, and that's kind of what I did with SAN. I looked at it for a very long period of time. I'm not going to put my money into something that I haven't really looked at and try to analyze every different aspect of it. But just from kind of, you know, briefly looking at this, I mean, it is holding that support of right around 18,000 very nicely. You know, it hasn't crashed below it yet. So, you know, if it crashes below it, then I mean, it's more on a downtrend. If it maintains that level, then it's healthy. But you just have to see, you know, how these candlesticks are are going to play out, and to see if it's breaking key levels. And that's one of the key levels. And if it does break that level, then really the next level you got is, 16,500 possibly. Between 16,500 and 16,001 Satoshis. And then the other level would be somewhere in the range of 12,500, 12,750. So you got to really plot out these key points and see, what if she's going to start breaking down those key points. And the more that she's breaking down these support levels, then it's bearish. That's not bullish at all. But so far she's holding, that 18,000 so far. But I don't know. Yeah, maybe, I'll look at this again to see exactly if she holds that 18,000 or she breaks down completely below it. Rocky Mountain, Oni, good morning, fellas. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. But let's see, 35. Oh, no, we're getting a breakdown. That's all right. That's all right. I'm not too worried about this. I think the setup is still there. I'm still in the profit. Yeah, the profit has dwindled just a little bit, but there's still a profit. So, no, it's holding pretty well. Let's see. What was the other one? Pay. Pay might be the last one I look at, to be honest with you guys. Pay is probably going to be the last one I look at, and then I'll chat with you guys for a little bit. Answer questions as best as I can. 10x, 10x, 10x. I know a lot of you guys made some profit on 10x, which is awesome. Is it really up 50% today? All right, so let's get back to Bittrex. Yeah, it's pretty nice gain. Yeah, this thing has been on the up ever since, who was it? I want to give credit where credit is due. Whoever mentioned it on our Slack chat. And I mean, just because somebody mentions that cryptocurrency is not the opportunity for you to jump in, you really got to do your research. Because you can jump in and it could go up, which is very nice. I mean, that's basically luck. Or you can jump in and it completely breaks down and you end up losing money. So, just because somebody mentions a coin is not really an opportunity for you to say, hey, I'm gonna buy it because somebody just mentioned it. But yeah, man, this is nice. This has made a nice move, especially after really correcting nicely. And as you can see, probably got to look at a one-day time frame. The nice thing is, when they break down, they are breaking down. Maybe one-day time frame is not going to do us justice. So when she had that really nice run up and started to break down, really what you want to pay attention to is, how far is it really breaking down? So here it broke down, went up, broke down, went up. I mean, this is just pretty ugly, up and down swings is pretty ugly. It doesn't really give you that true confirmation of, what, this thing is starting to turn around. What you basically want to kind of keep an eye out on is to see, where the candlesticks are closing. So basically, I mean, if you draw out your trend line, let's see if I can get out of this. I mean, it doesn't really matter where you draw out from, but, we'll just put it right there. As you can see, I mean, it didn't just completely break down and keep breaking and keep breaking and keep breaking. She started really grinding to the upside. And that's kind of what you want to see, slowly but surely grinding to the upside. And as long as she does that, there is momentum on the buyers, and the sellers are not really looking to unload and just get rid of everything because they've lost faith in it. So, I mean, this is just a nice grind to the upside. And eventually, the longer that it just keeps grinding and heading higher, just like I talk about, with the trend getting tighter and tighter and tighter, as it's peaking and getting higher and, it's basically, setting newer, higher lows, then that, you have the possibility for a good breakout. But yeah, that's kind of the pattern you want to look for. You want to be able to spot out these type of patterns and then, act upon it, but don't act upon it in a greedy type of way where you're going all in because anything could happen. But no, this is nice. This is definitely a nice chart, nice setup. But you guys can't kick yourself by not taking position in this. You really can't. Because you can't have a position in everything. There's only, you can only look at so many cryptocurrencies. And I wish I could enlarge this chart. Sucks that I can't make it the whole screen. But yeah, this is nice. I mean, just slowly but surely grinded up on that trend line and just had a nice pop, very nice pop from it. So yeah, congrats to anybody that took a profit or is still holding on this. Yeah, that's awesome. I like to see people making profit. All right, OMG is not holding that $7. BTC is just ripping, the king of the crop. F and Litecoin. Litecoin. I mean, I want to position in it, but not $47. We'll talk about EOS a little bit too. I'm going to try to get to some of the comments, but I'm going to briefly cover EOS and what I like about it. But this is not the time to take a position in this, not at all. And I can care less about, what EOS is doing in the background. I just care about the chart setup, and the setup is there. It just hasn't fully piqued my interest yet to say, okay, you know what, this is the time that I'm going to put a little bit of money into it. Not yet. All right, 35 cents is where we are. But we're going to take a look at EOS after I get to a couple comments. Where is re-entry for NEO? I don't know, man. Wherever you feel comfortable. I can't give trading advice, man. But I mean, I don't know. If you were looking to get a little bit of skin in the game, if I was looking to get in this trade, I'm not saying what you should do, but if I was looking to get into that trade, 800,000 Satoshis, I would probably take a little bit of a nibble. Oh, it did break down below the 800,000 Satoshis. Let's see. She did break down below it. So who was, man, I wish I could find out who the comment was from. I think it was you, Breck. So, but I don't think you're on here today. But yeah, we talked about, that hitting that 80,000 Satoshis or 800,000 Satoshis and to be patient for it. So now there's a possibility that you're going to have panic sellers. There's a possibility you are going to have panic sellers. What did Fibonacci indicate to us? Whew, maybe more of a drop. Possibly 73,000. I'm sorry, 730,000, 750,000 Satoshis. But yeah, we'll see if panic selling ensues and they cause this thing to completely tank. But yeah, this is a correction, and it needs a correct. It just depends on how far it's going to correct. And is China losing faith? Are they losing faith? And could all this news be fluffed? And it's actually just completely being manipulated to steal money from the average Joe, from the Joe Schmee. But don't try to catch a falling knife, because that knife has fallen. But I mean, there's enough buying pressure though, even though the chart's showing 79,000. I don't think that's right. 83,000. So it got to 77,000. I'm sorry, I keep saying 77,000. It got to 770,000. But made a nice gain. I mean, it's up to 835,000 now. So 840,000. So it just went up 70,000 Satoshis. You got out of NEO at $40. Congrats, dude. That's awesome. 42 and change was a high. Hodling long on pay. Yeah, I mean, it could pay off. It could pay off. Let's see. Man, I'm missing some of these comments. Chaos Theories question. What is good entry? Yeah, dude. You got to wait for the chart to really tell you. I would have to spend enough time analyzing it. I really would. And, considering this is towards the end of the live stream, that would have been the first thing, for me to have done, was to really thoroughly analyze NEO, look at different variables as well, too, to see exactly what she might come down to. And that takes a while. That's not something you can do kind of on the fly, unless you've been analyzing NEO for the past, several days, several weeks, like I do with a lot of these other cryptocurrencies. But NEO is not one of them that I have. So it's hard for me to say, man. It's very hard for me to say. Dumped LTC into CVC last week. So glad, dude. I mean, sometimes, those timings are perfect. Sometimes they're not, unfortunately, but you got to take the good with the bad. Let's see. Rocky Mountain. You saw my chart a couple days ago in the Slack. I'm trying to remember what the chart looked like. If you want to post it again, I will gladly look at it. It's tough for me to scroll and have to try to find the one comment because I wanted to try to find some of the comments that I had yesterday, but it would take me a little while to scroll. So EOS, we'll get to that. Can I look at XVG? There's not going to be enough time, to be honest with you, Drum, because I want to take a look at EOS real quick to kind of show you what I'm looking at. And this is not an opportunity for me to take a position, but you know, it will get interesting, even though a lot of people might think this is a scam. I can care less what they're doing behind the scene. I just care about price action, price movement. And it could have the possibility, and I'm not talking about long-term hold. This is not a long-term hold for me. EOS would not be, but it would be an opportunity to take a profit because the setup, the patterns are possibly there. And that's, remember, we talk about the probabilities of patterns and things like that. Have I looked at XRP? Man, I have not looked at XRP in a very long time, Matthew. Very long time. And I don't know if it's time for me to take a look at it. I haven't even clicked on the chart since probably when I took a position in it at like, I think I bought at 25 cents and then I sold at 27 cents, I'm going to say. I mean, the history is here. I can look it up later. But yeah, I haven't looked at it ever since then. And that was a long time ago. Too long. But yeah, today's definitely not the time, considering it's 11:30. I want to definitely talk about EOS a little bit and then answer as many questions as I can. But yeah, it would take too long to really do a thorough analysis. Asher, how often do we send out invites for the Slack chat? You know, I don't think ECS or Dylan are on here, but ECS and Dylan do heavily read those questionnaires. And if they see that, you know, you're a good fit, then they will send you an invite. So I don't know when you applied, Asher. Dylan, if you're on here, if you could take a look at that, that'd be sweet. BTC, I kind of mentioned it earlier. I mean, it doesn't have any limits. It's gonna have those crazy moves to the upside, and it's gonna have, you know, either a minor correction or major correction, and then it's gonna get right back up to where it came from, and start really breaking all other psychological levels, and you know, breaking all barriers. And it's gonna do the same thing again. It's gonna correct. It's either gonna be major or minor, and then it's gonna blast off again out of space. I mean, it's just, you know, I can't say that BTC is gonna stay down and that it's gonna die. I mean, it's making new highs just about every day. I mean, almost 5,000, I'm sorry, 3,550. I mean, that's crazy. All right, so EOS, and then I'll do my best to kind of read some of the comments and try to respond to them as well too. But you know, the reason why I like this pattern is because it's flatlining. It's been flatlining for a while, and I like the fact that it's just not completely breaking down. And when I say breaking down, I mean, you know, back down under 50 bucks, on 50 cents. You know, it's not breaking down. Yes, it broke down from its high. You know, when it first got listed, yeah, it broke down pretty well, and it didn't break below $1.13. A little over $1.13 was what it got down to, and I was looking for it at $1. I would have bought it at $1. I was waiting, but it did happen. But I mean, you know, the reason why I like this chart is because, let me get in a little closer here. It's possibly forming, as long as it doesn't break out above $2.13, $2.14, and not really have a confirmed crazy breakout. You know, if it breaks out past that level by a couple pennies and then breaks down, it's not going to be really the true handle that I'm looking for. And it hasn't really completely formed yet. I don't think it has. So that's why I really haven't taken a position in this. But that time will come when I think it's right for me, personally, for me to take a position in it. You know, it might not, just because it's right for me, might not be right for you. But, you know, basically, I mean, we have sort of a cup. I mean, there's our cup here, you know, with not breaking above this high here. Now, this high, you know, might be some sort of a resistance. So, you know, we'll definitely have to pay attention to that very closely if you are in this position. But yeah, the 218 is going to be somewhat of resistance. But we got the cup and we have the handle. The handle has not broken out above $2.13, $2.14. It hasn't broken out above that. That handle has been Let me see if I can get a better angle of this. The handle has not broken out above it, which is a good sign that, you know, it could pop. There is a possibility it could. I just don't know when. And it all depends, you know, as long as the right person comes in and sees this pattern and they're like, I'm jumping on this. But that range has gotten tighter, and I don't know how tight that range can get. You know, I don't think that range can get any more tighter than what it is now. So it could blast off, you know, or it might not. You know, it could just continuously break, you know, I mean, it could break down from there. So I'll definitely have to pay attention to this over the weekend and see exactly what it's going to do. But the setup is nice. The setup is there. It's just, I mean, are the other probabilities there? And that's something that you have to really analyze and take a look at, other variables as well too. But, you know, on this quick type of an analysis, I mean, it has a nice pattern, but I need to take a look at other variables as well too. So we can briefly take a look at it, not to analyze it really thoroughly to see, you know, what is there possibly one buyer or one seller that's stacked up and that's completely spread out their order, and what are the possibilities of them getting tired of this because it's just been flatline and they start dumping. It looks like more sellers. So let's see, 1.3 million on the buy side, 941,000 on the sell side. So the buyers are outweighing the sellers currently at the moment. So that would indicate, you know what, it's bullish, but a lot of other factors have to play in. And it's just, for me, it's not the right time. Now, if she gets to 150, yes, I would say it's the right time for me to take a position. And I would be taking a very sizable position. So I would see a nice return if it gets right back up to the 180 range. Whereas if you only buy a little bit and it goes up, you know, from and you buy at 150 and it goes up to 180, you might not see the returns, you know, to have it really motivate you. But yeah, if she breaks down to 150, you know, I would definitely be looking at this and looking to take a very sizable position. But it's not there yet. So if anybody took a position, you know, let's just say down here, or, you know, when these three candlesticks were forming, thinking that, you know what, this is a bullish movement. You know, we got three candlesticks, they're opening up, you know, well, the current candle, the candle in front of it is opening up at the previous candle's closing price. And that's, you know, three candlesticks, you know, and these are 12 hours. So we got basically a day and a half worth of movement here. And somebody probably got in the middle thinking, you know what, this is a nice bullish move. You know, we're going to have a nice push to the upside. And then all it did is just basically, you know, just bounce between that, you know, happy medium of 180 level, let's just say, you know, and they would probably get tired of it and be like, you know, I've been holding this for a while. It's not doing anything. There's other cryptocurrencies that are moving. I'm missing out on the opportunity on SAN or on OMG. Let me get out of this trade. I'm sick of it. Never looking back. And what would happen? I mean, it would cause the price to dip to possibly below that 140. So you got to be patient with these trades, you know, and I always talked about buying on that dip. You always want to, you know, wait for that dip to happen. And if you're not ready, if you don't have access to that exchange, you don't have funds available in that exchange to be able to jump on that type of opportunity, you're going to miss out. You can say, oh, you know, I saw that there and I didn't hop on it. Well, you didn't have the proper things in place to be able to take advantage of that type of drop. So, you know, if you're new, if you want to, you know, if you're a new investor that's just getting onto this market, I'm not telling you to trade now. I'm not telling you to buy any cryptocurrency, but have that account set up. Fund that account where you have money waiting in that account to be able to take advantage of any price movements that happen, especially these panic dips. And that's a perfect opportunity to buy these panic dips. I had a nice conversation with Marian. Marian, I don't know if you're still on here, but, you know, I mean, our conversation went for like almost an hour, and he was one of the winners of the contest. And that's one thing I wanted to know, you know, is he ready? Is he prepared for when these dips do happen? I don't think he's bought his first cryptocurrency yet. And I was so amazed that he was ready. He had an account set up. He had funds in there waiting to bounce on that opportunity. And I was like, man, I was like, you are well prepared. You are more prepared than anybody else that I know. A lot of people will, you know, talk about cryptocurrency and basically look at the charts, but not have that account set up to be able to take advantage of it. So you definitely want to be set up, you know, so when the opportunity presents itself, you're able to hop on it, you know, and you just got to be patient with that. And as long as you have that account ready, it's funded, you can be patient. You can wait for that drop to, you know, $1.30, $1.20 to where it would get right back up to $1.80 or $1.75, and you're in the profit. Instead of buying here at 180 and it starts to dip to 150, 140, 130, and then you panic and sell. And you end up panicking and selling at the bottom. That's what somebody did here at 110. I'm sorry, 114, 115. They panicked and sold, you know, so they probably lost out on a little bit. But I do like saying EOS. It's just not the right time yet for me to take a position. And you guys would know. I mean, if I take a position, unless I do it, after like this weekend, you're probably not going to know that I took a position. Now, if you're part of our Slack chat, yes, you will know that I took a position in this. But if you're not part of our Slack chat, you would have no clue. If I took a position in this or if I exited out of a trade. Now, once I exit out of a trade, I will notify our Slack chat. So if I get out of SAN, if I take an incremental profit, I'll inform our Slack chat. Hey, you know what? Locked in, 25% of my position for a profit. So definitely join our Slack chat. Definitely join and contribute to that chat. I definitely want to see people chatting and contributing. I mean, even if your analysis is wrong, it's a learning process. Everybody's learning. So start charting out, start drawing out some trend lines. Who cares if they're wrong? To be honest with you, I would rather look at them and say, you know what? Let's do this a little different. This is probably where you want to put this type of trend. This is where you want to put this, but go ahead and do it and post it onto our Slack chat. I'd be happy to take a look at it and give you a little bit of advice. Or I might just say, man, you're thinking exactly what I'm thinking. Like, you see the setup, you're seeing exactly what I'm seeing. And when you have two minds that are thinking alike, you got great minds. So, and that's how to really beat the market, is having collectively a good amount of people seeing the same thing that you're seeing, and the probabilities are going to be a lot higher if they see exactly what you see. So definitely, share your charts, your fundamental analysis, technical analysis. Share your ability to scour the web and find some news. And that's kind of what we're looking for. It's a community, a collective community that's sharing information and not there to pump and dump. And I will say this again: we're not there to pump and dump. And if that's what your intentions are, is to pump and dump out of Crypto Traders Room, I will revoke that access. And I'm sure ECS and Dylan will revoke that access. So there is no pumping and dumping that goes on. And honestly, if I see it, I will not warn anybody at all. I will just revoke that access instantly. That's not my motive. I don't want to see anybody get trapped into any trade and be manipulated. So there's no pumping and dumping, guys. I mean, I could easily pump sand if I wanted to, but I'm not pumping sand, and I would never pump anything at all. But sorry if I blab there for a second about that, but that's very important to me, that we're not out there to manipulate anybody. We're not out there to take advantage of anybody. We want to be the new frontier and keeping it real. And that's what we want to be. All right, let me get to some of the comments, and then by 12 o'clock, so 20 minutes, I will be ending this. So if you do find these comments, helpful, these little things that I'm saying, and you find this information, what I talk about, helpful, do us a favor. If you haven't pounded that like button, what is keeping you from pounding that like button? So pound it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click on that subscribe button, as well as the post notification. Stay connected with us on STEAMIT, as well as Facebook and Twitter. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. Crypto Trader. How long has wire transfer for deposit been paused at Bitfinex? Wanted to add more stinky fiat for buying power. Haven't had the need to add funds to Bitfinex for a minute. You can't. It's been a while. It's been a while that they've completely stopped wire transfers. So your best bet is to transfer cryptocurrency, BTC, Ether, LTC. And that's kind of what I've been doing. That's how I've gotten funds over to Bitfinex, is I would buy on GDAX and I would transfer it. I was doing arbitrage back and forth. And then kind of the prices kind of leveled out now. So I haven't been doing too much arbitrage, but that's the only way really I was able to get funds funneled in and out of Bitfinex. So if I want to cash out into USD, yes, I would have to really transfer, even though I can get into USD on Bitfinex, but I can't get that into my bank account. So I need to get the cryptocurrency over to Coinbase or GDAX, sell it there for USD, take that USD and transfer it to my bank account. That's really the only way for me to get money out. But yeah, so Oni, transfer cryptocurrency, you'll be fine. Someone on Kraken sold Violet. Welcome, by the way. Let's see, sold 1.181. I'm trying to understand the math real quick. $1.81 and then 1,813. Just wondering why it hasn't put a dent in the chart. First of all, I don't even know what cryptocurrency you're looking at, so that doesn't really help me. And I would really have to sit there and analyze the order book to see exactly what might have happened, to see if it was a market buy or a limit order that was put in. Yeah, it's so hard for me to determine that just by this question. So I would need a little more information, and I would really need to sit there and analyze it. So I'm sorry, I don't have that answer for you as to as to why. So the volume was 1,813. The price was 181. Yeah, I'd have to do a very thorough, and right now it's just not the time at all, considering I only have a couple of minutes left. But yeah, let me know what cryptocurrency it was. Oh, for EOS. Okay, man, I'm late on these comments. On Kraken as well too. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to really look at it. It's tough for me to say just by reading your comment. Yeah, and I'm not going to BS you. You know, and I've told you guys that before. If I don't know the answer, I don't know the answer. I'm not going to BS you. Marion, you are here. Yeah, so yeah, I was kind of mentioning how well prepared you are, buddy. You know, having that account set up, having it funded, and waiting for the right opportunity. You know, waiting for that nice dip. As long as you're in front of a computer or you have that low ball offer in, and it reaches that low ball offer, then you know you're well prepared. You're ready. You're more ready than a lot of other people that I know. So that's awesome. Slack chat me. Ark, are you on our Slack chat? If you are, I mean, send me a message. And I don't know how long I'm going to be on there today. I was on there a lot. Wednesday, I was on there. I think I went to bed at like 2 a.m. And then yesterday, I was like, it was like midnight, I think. I was like, I got to get some sleep. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you have already, you know, filled out the questionnaire, I mean, you can go back in and sign up. But just be truthful with your answers. I mean, you know, don't provide any information that's not true. Don't make up. You know, when we ask you for your, you know, Facebook profile or any social media profile, we want to make sure that you're a real person. You know, and that's why we're asking for that. And I think somebody put in like a BS like 123@123.com, and I was like, come on, dude, like really, like we want to make sure you're a real person. We want to make sure, you know, a couple other things. Like we really got to protect that room, and that's our main priority. No, Tom, there's no particular time that anybody gets on. I mean, you know, there's people from all over the world, you know, and as you know, the cryptocurrency market is 24/7. I mean, if this was the traditional financial market, I would say, yeah, from, you know, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., there's somebody there because that's when trading happens. But with the cryptocurrency, considering it's 24/7, I mean, there's just going to be people, and people are from all over the world. You know, you might find somebody there, or you might not find anybody there. Yesterday there was a good amount of people chatting, but you're always going to see the same amount of people chatting. So there's, you know, over 90 people and none of them chat really. So, but yeah, definitely, Tom, don't be shy, man. You know, just start chatting, just ask, you know, when you get on, just say, hey, who's on this? Who's here? Pound it, pound that like button. Let's see. Anybody here do control finance? I don't know what you mean by control finance. I keep ignoring your simple question. I'm sorry, dude. What was your question? I get a lot of questions. Just a simple question. If you covered Civic today, so I can watch your stream again once it's over. But I'm sorry, I do end up not purposely. I don't purposely skip people's question. It's just there's so many that are coming through. Even though you're putting at Crypto Traders Room, but there's a couple of them that are putting at Crypto Traders Room. So I have not covered Civic. I have not at all. And I do apologize. And I know a lot of people are interested in Civic. You know, I'm going to do this weekend. I'm going to really heavily take a look at Civic, as long as I have good access to a charting system, which I don't think I do. So I'm going to have to really chart it out and then take a screenshot of it, because on Bittrex, anything you plot out, it does not stay if you refresh the page or you exit out of there. So I apologize for skipping your question, bud. I really do. But for you, I will cover that on Monday live stream, if that's okay. And I will do a thorough analysis on Civic. But thank you for letting me know that I missed your question, because that's not my intentions at all, to miss somebody's question, especially if they have a very good question. You know, I'd be happy to answer it. Yeah, dude, I don't like to see pumping either, you know, and I don't like to see people being taken advantage of. I really don't. I don't know. I just have a soft heart, you know, but you know, it's not my motive at all. It kind of hurts me to see that somebody lost money. And I've said it before, I want to see you guys make $1. I don't want to see you lose $1. I mean, of course, I want to see you guys make more than $1, but I'm just using that as an analogy. Like, you know, I don't want to see anybody lose any money. So, but yeah, no pump and dumps for me, man. None. And I've gotten so many invites asking me to join. And I probably will join. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you. I will probably join later on down the road. I'll join maybe 1 or 2 pump and dump groups, but I'm not taking part in their pump and dump because I'm the one that's going to be giving them money basically. But I want to see what they're pumping. And there is a plan for, for me to have that data. There is a plan. It's just not for me to say, oh, okay, they're pumping this and they're pumping that. No, there's definitely a plan that I have. And that plan involves making money off of it, of course. But that's not, I mean, that's a conversation for some other time for a very select few people that I'm looking for. NEO jumped 20%. Yeah, I'm sure it's jumping. I mean, 88%. Wait, or I'm sorry, 885,000 associates I see now. So that's pretty nice from that, what, 775? That's a pretty nice gain. Let's see. Oni, you're saying they still have it locked up from BCH. Who has it locked up from BCH? Yeah, I haven't heard about anything being locked up for BCH. Arise chicken. Arise. Too funny with this chicken. Let's see. You're not on the Slack chat. Do I have Dylan or ECS on this? Are you guys on this? If you are, please let me know. Ark, do me a favor. Because it's going to be tough for me to possibly find that. Go ahead and fill out another one, please. I do apologize. Just answer the questionnaire. The questionnaires have changed, but go ahead and submit that, because then that'll come through instead of us having to really scroll through a bunch of entries that came through. I think that's who it was that. Yeah, so Ark, I do apologize. I think I'm having computer issues right now where things are just freezing, so I'm not even able to find some of these comments to respond to the next couple minutes. XRP, it'd be bad if I looked at XRP and I didn't look at civics. That would be kind of bad. But I will look at XRP. I will, just not today, to be honest with you. I mean, I got 10 more minutes left on this live stream, and just in case something does, we do have a massive move that does happen within some of these cryptocurrencies, especially the trade that I'm in. I would be looking to possibly take some profit. So it wouldn't be fair that I would cover XRP and not really cover Civic. Jim, how do you get on Slack? So basically, if you go down, it's not a hyperlink for some apparent reason, but on the bottom of this video, it'll say stay connected. And there is a web address. Go to the web address, put in your information, answer the questionnaire that we have on there, and then submit that. Not everybody gets an invite. I'll be honest with you. It's not a right to join Crypto Traders Room. It's really a privilege. I'm going to be frank with you, because there's a certain community that we're looking to build, and this isn't just going to be a troll box type of Polonius chat room. Honestly, it's not. That's not what I'm looking for. So not everybody gets an invite. And if you've gotten an invite, that's awesome. But start chatting, because we are going to start looking at to see, okay, who's a member, who's chatting, who's not chatting, what information are they providing, and what possibly, what could be their motive. And that room is going to expand to something else. So not everybody gets an invite. I mean, we really take those questionnaires, like serious. We do. Or ARC. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I remember somebody emailing me and saying, "Hey, you know what? And this is way back in the day. They filled out the questionnaire and hadn't gotten a response, and we were sending them to everybody at that point. He just happened to provide the wrong email address, like he missed a letter in his email address. So of course he wasn't going to receive it. So if that was the case, and you provided, you mistyped out your email address, not provided the wrong email address, but mistyped your email address, then yeah, I mean, of course you're not going to get that invite if we send it to you. It's probably going to get returned back, or I'm not sure how that handles, but Dylan could probably let me know later on. So I just mentioned, Garrett, the Slack chat, link. It's at the bottom of this video. It's basically our website. So it's just not a link that says Slack. Just go to our website and answer the brief question. The Aussie drama. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that you like the stream and that you've subbed. Sweet. You're awesome. So yeah, I haven't looked at the subscriber count today. But yeah, I mean, over 2,300, that's impressive. And like I said before, it motivates me. It really keeps me going and wanting to keep doing these. And that's the thing too. So Sarah, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. But yeah, so I mean, if we click on your profile, your social media profile, and it doesn't indicate that it's a real profile, and somebody would have, let's just say they started a profile 2 days ago, and then they filled out a questionnaire and it got submitted to us. We're gonna look at that and be like, all right, this person just created this profile just to be able to get on here. What motives do they possibly have? Are they trying to hide their identity to where they have a different motive, a different purpose? So that could be a reason too, where you would have probably not gotten that invite sent to you. But explicit, man, like I said, I apologize, dude. And I call everybody dude, so I apologize if you're female. But yeah, I apologize for missing that question, but I will definitely cover it. And that's why I didn't want to cover a different cryptocurrency, because I don't think it would have been fair to you to not cover Civic and cover XRP. Only that's just what a robot would say. And Sarah, I think I remember I read your questionnaire. And we don't send out these invites every single day, to be honest with you. So as soon as they come in, we don't send it out. Like, I mean, we've got to manually go through it. But I do remember reading your profile, and I like the way you answered some of the things. Ark, I'm glad you love the community. Thank you so much. Your 5-year-old just busted open a piggy bank. She wants to buy Bitcoin. Dude, do it. Do it. Don't buy Doge. Like my son wanted. Don't buy Doge. Buy a solid cryptocurrency. And he was adamant about it. So I was like, dude, okay, fine. But I'm like, what about Zcash? What about Bitcoin? What about Monero? Because he wants to get a dog. He wants to get a dog pet. So he figured if he had a Doge, and it kind of resembles a dog, that he would be content. And I think he's content now. So he hasn't been asking about a dog. He just asked about his Doge. How's my Doge doing? And every day it's always the same answer. Yeah, Tom, I hope everybody does make money. I hope nobody loses any money whatsoever. Making money is the name of the game. Not to lose it, not to give it away, not to give it back. So sand. I mean, it still scares me, but I need this thing to get to 40 cents and maintain that level. It's still a pretty good level where it's at, but she needs to get back up. Explicit, not a problem, man. Thank you so much. Sunspawn. No, I would never say nobody's worthy of joining our Slack chat, but we just can't have a floodgate, if you know what I mean. We can't open up that floodgate. Then it becomes too much. And I'm sure a lot of Facebook groups are having that issue. Um, so, I don't want to run into that issue. And unfortunately, I mean, I hate to say it, there's a lot of people that have bad motives, and that's not what I want to deal with. That's not what I want somebody to be exposed to, especially on something that, we're trying to create. Peace out, buddy. Have a great day. Scott, how did I know you were actually, well, I know you're always on. I know that. How did I know you were going to comment about that? And I thought about that. Once I said that, I was like, I bet Scott will send me a text message. And I looked at my phone. There was no text message, but thanks, bud. I appreciate your comment, man. Yeah, always complete that questionnaire with your actual profile. That's how we're going to know you're real, to be honest with you. Complete it with your actual profile. Andrew, thank you so much for joining, man. Not a problem. And, congrats on the new job. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And yeah, I mean, these are uploaded to YouTube. So, you could always go back and watch them. But yeah, man, thank you for joining the live stream. And if you can join, that's great. And if you can, I completely understand. I mean, we all have responsibilities, outside of this cryptocurrency world. And, we got to do what's best for us. And, too much YouTube could be bad. Stefan, thank you so much for that comment, man. Let's see what you're saying. Jonas, always good videos, man. You really work your ass off. Gonna finally get advice on your Slack. I've only been on a live stream, but more time to trade and analyze now. Yeah, dude, definitely join and converse. That's all that I ask, is just chat away, converse. I mean, we have a troll box, section. If you want to just talk about anything and everything, yeah, you can hop in the troll box, and then, you can hop on the general, to actually get some good conversation about cryptocurrency. Asher, I did see yours come through. I don't think we've sent out any invitations yet, but we will be. But I've looked at yours. I've looked at Sarah. But thank you for the donation yesterday as well, too. I was so generous of you. Yeah, it could be bad. Sunspawn, it could be really bad. Like I said, if you open those floodgates, it can get out of control. And then what? We got to shut down the whole thing and then start over again. We don't want to do that. You got the VIP pass. Haven't been going to Slack. Looking forward to it. So I'm assuming you got the invitation then. That's what you mean by you got the VIP pass? No, Jim, yeah. Your profile shows you're a magician. No, that doesn't matter at all. I can care less what you do. As long as you're being, you're being truthful with us, and you're providing your right social media profile, and not just some profile that you just created. No, it doesn't matter what you do. I can care less, to be honest with you. We're all from different walks of life. We all have done different things in life, and cryptocurrency has brought us together as a family, and really that's all that matters. Good for you, man. I'm glad that you're doing a degree. Yes, Chris, dude, exactly. And I've said it in the past, and I do say chat, but yeah, you definitely have to add value. You have to provide, and that's what I said. I mean, even if you're learning how to chart, take a screenshot of it and post it and say, hey, well, what do you guys think of this? And, if I'm on, I'll take a look at it and say, you know what, this is great. You're thinking exactly like I'm thinking, or, this is probably how you want to chart it, depending on what it is that you're looking to do or what it is that you're looking at. But it's a community to be able to help you guys out. So, I mean, there are people there that are very knowledgeable, and they could help you out. So I just ask to, provide value, if it's fundamental analysis or technical analysis, or like I said earlier, if you can scour the web and find some news. I was scouring the web yesterday on sand, trying to find anything and everything. There were only like 2 YouTube videos about sand. It was nothing. And I'm like, well, that could be good. That could be bad. You know, when the hype starts and everybody starts talking about sand, yes, this thing could go parabolic. But I was like, wow. I'm like, I can't find anything at all. But I'm sure somebody can scour the web and be able to find something. So, you know, it's hard for me to kind of take that time out of, you know, half hour, 45 minutes and just scour and scour when I'm trying to look at a bunch of other different things. So, you know, whatever type of value you can bring to the table, bring it. You know, that's all that we ask. Sunspone, thank you so much, man. Love the fam. Let's see, you're a gun poker player online and live. Sweet. Dude, I stopped playing poker, man. I just don't have time for it. You know, before I had kids, yes, I played it, but I'll be honest with you. I mean, you know, I'm a full-time dad, and you know, I try to be a full-time trader, but it's tough. It's tough. So I don't make things for a lot of other things that I used to do. I used to enjoy going hiking, you know, mountain biking. I just don't do it anymore. I don't have the time for it. But I wish I did, to have time for those little things that I like. But yeah, once you become a dad, it's tough. And BTC with trust. Yeah, dude. A lot of people do trust in BTC. I do too, man. I think it's something great. I think it can do something very good. IOTA 0.71 cents. Let's take a look at that real quick. How many people nowadays are shy in the chat room? A lot. I don't know if they're lack of normal skills. You know, I mean, I'm sure they're able to communicate. You know, I'm not going to say that they can't communicate, but my honest opinion is that they're waiting for advice, you know, on a buy and sell, when to buy, when to sell. And that's not the type of advice I'm giving. You know, I'm not going to analyze something and say, hey, everybody should get in this, and then say, hey, everybody should be selling this. I would be pumping that for my agenda, you know, and that's not what I'm looking to do. I just think, you know, they're shy, and they're just waiting for somebody to provide them the information that they need to possibly place a trade without doing their own, you know, due diligence. That's just my honest opinion. And that's not to offend anybody that hasn't chatted, but I mean, we got a lot of members, and it's really only a handful, you know, and I got to give a big shout out to Rocky Mountain and Oni, aside from the other people. I mean, you guys know who you are, who chat, but you know, Rocky Mountain and Oni, I mean, you guys are awesome. Keep that room somewhat interactive, and I appreciate it, man. I really do. No fiat, so you don't hold USD unless market is crashing. It's always good to have USD on the side, because if you're in crypto and it starts to tank and you don't get out, or you finally get out, you're going to be getting out where you kind of lost a little bit of the profit, possibly. Yeah, dude, kids come first. I got 3 of them. It's tough. It is tough. All right, so IOTA is starting to, and I know this is going a little longer, but IOTA is starting to have a nice breakout after really having a nice consolidation. And I thought I drew something out on this. Maybe on the 1 hour I did. I thought I drew out an ascending triangle. But I mean, on the 30 minutes, that's almost what we have here. But let's look at it a little closer. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if IOTA, and this isn't an opportunity. I mean, this is not an advice for you to buy, please. I mean, don't buy it because I say it. But I wouldn't be surprised if this thing reaches $1. It's easily attainable. Easily attainable. I don't see why it couldn't do it. All right, my chart is not working, but I wanted to kind of show you where the ascending triangle was. But it's basically right here. I mean, draw that straight line, and then, you know, take your upward trend, meet it up with the horizontal line, and then you could, and that's always a magic word, you could have a nice push up to the upside. But yeah, this thing is moving nicely. It's moving nicely. But we're going to see exactly, you know, if this does get to $1, what's going to happen at $1? Is it going to, I mean, it's huge gains. I mean, you know, from 50 cents that it was at, that I basically saw it, you know, it's a huge gain for it. You know, this thing has gone parabolic. I mean, it really has. You know, it has corrections, healthy corrections, but nothing major correction yet. There hasn't been a major dump. And when I mean a major dump, I mean, 50% dump from where she currently is. That just hasn't happened yet. A 50% dump would put it right around 350. It hasn't happened yet. Can it happen? That's a possibility. But right now, she's just really defined every logic. And that just needs to be sand. Sand needs that type of push. But I mean, if we look at the volume, I mean, 25 million in volume. I mean, there's strong support for him is just pouring in to this. So, volume is very important. If the volume is not there, it's a very stagnant trade. And those trades aren't bad. I'll be honest with you. If you're looking to trade and kind of learn how to trade, you want to trade something that's not moving as fast. And keep that in mind, because if something is moving fast, I mean, you're going to have those crazy up and down swings. You're not going to know really what to do. But if you're going to trade, possibly look into trading something and really analyze the chart and not really take a big hit because it's going to be completely volatile with these crazy up and down swings, is trade something or buy something and attempt to trade it and attempt to learn the patterns and the price action movement on something that's very consistent, very flatline. That's kind of what I if I was a new trader, that's kind of what I would do. And that's kind of from, making mistakes in the past. But if somebody said to me, hey, just don't buy these coins that are flying because they're so volatile, there's crazy up and down swings, buy something that just really doesn't move as much. The volume is not there. Because then, you can kind of take your time and learn, look at the order book and look at how the candles react to the order book and how they react to a limit buy as well as a market sell. It'll be basically at your level to where you can understand what's going on instead of something flying really fast and you're trying to look at the order book, the trade history, what's coming in, how is it coming in, looking at the candlesticks is too much on something that's very volatile. But on something that's very consistent, it's a great opportunity to learn that way. Many of us that don't chat, listen to learn. No, there's nothing wrong with that, Race. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But I'm always on there and I'm like, oh, who's here? I mean, I want to chat with everybody that's on Slack. I do. But yeah, nobody wants to chat with me. Yeah, Sarah, I'll be honest with you. I would, and somebody had talked about TeamSpeak. And I think TeamSpeak is great. It allows everybody to converse verbally. But the problem is then you just, you might end up talking on top of somebody. So if it's a very small group, yeah, it's great. But when you got 80 people, and possibly, 30 of them are trying to talk at the same time, it becomes chaotic. But yeah, I prefer, to talk to, you guys or ladies, verbally. I really do. And that's why, I'm really going to enjoy these chat and chill things that I'm going to be possibly doing. And I hope that, whoever these contest winners are, I mean, I'm hoping they reach out to me and say, hey, you know what, I was a winner because, I basically sent everybody a message and they want to chat. I mean, Marion was the only one. And I was excited, man. I was excited. I was excited before the call. I was even excited after the call. I'm like, this is awesome. I got to converse with a viewer that I've never met, but that was always consistently on the live stream. One mouth, two ears. No, I mean, as simple as, hey, what's up? How's everybody doing? I mean, there has to be an icebreaker. You got to get the conversation going somehow, some way. And then, you get a little more comfortable. You become a little more open and say, hey, what is an RSI? Hey, you know what? How do I read MACD? I don't know, whatever it might be, whatever question you might have. And, hopefully there's somebody there to be able to answer it for you in a truthful way. Let me see. I don't know what this question is, but I wonder why Bittrex doesn't have official on ISO. I don't know. Anyone ever trade on a mobile phone? I forget who was asking about this. Somebody on our Slack was asking about this. I look at things on my mobile phone, especially if I'm not in front of my computer. And I think, you can access GDAX.com from any mobile device. Same GDAX that you would access from your computer. Same thing as Bitfinex. I like Bitfinex. I like their mobile app. I think their mobile app is great. Now, unfortunately, you can only trade like 3 or 4 of the cryptocurrencies. You can't trade everything through the mobile app. So I couldn't trade IOTA. I couldn't trade SAN. I couldn't trade EOS. I couldn't trade BCH. And I think there might have been something else that I couldn't trade through the mobile app. And that's because Apple has limitations. For a while, Dash wasn't even on there for a while. I mean, they had these cryptocurrencies, but Apple would not allow them to put it as part of the mobile app. Now they do. They just don't allow you to trade every single one of them. But the mobile app is actually, or the web application is actually pretty good. So if you just go to bitfinex.com and be able to log in, it's the same exact thing, just on a smaller screen, basically. But if you have a tablet, yeah, you can trade. No yelling. Who's yelling? Was I yelling? I got to listen to this live stream later. If I was yelling, I'm sorry. How do you trade price action? You can make videos on how to trade, just a suggestion that will help everyone. Well, price action are the candles. I mean, yeah, that's a separate conversation. That's a long conversation. But I mean, price action is basically how candles are forming. But the variables that really factor in the price action, the candle movement, is what's in the order book and how things are being executed from that order book, either at the market level, limit level, or possibly somebody coming in and hitting the market sell with a lot of coins sitting on the sideline. Yes, verbally would be good with chill people. You're absolutely right, and that's why you only need a handful. I mean, a lot of people it wouldn't be good. And I want to create a handful of people that we can collectively work together and dominate this market, and it can be done. It's just a lot for one person. It's a lot. Everybody would have a role that they would need to play, and those roles would need to be filled by what you're comfortable doing. What are you comfortable scouring? I mean, are you comfortable looking for these patterns and informing us of these patterns, or are you comfortable scouring the website for news or pumping dumps or anything that would possibly happen? Pablo, welcome. Let's see what we got today. See how many people we got, how many likes. All right, I think I got the majority of the questions, unless my computer's just frozen. Yep, I think I got to every single one of them. So if you are in these trades, this weekend, just be very careful. If you're looking at getting into a trade, definitely do your due diligence. Don't hop into a trade because somebody told you to hop onto a trade. Please do not do that. That's a great way of losing money. Yes, you can make money and it can go up, but more than likely, greed might set in and you're not going to lock in those profits. So do your due diligence, really. Maybe this weekend, if you wanted to do a little bit of homework, take a look at the core coins. Maybe jot down 10 of the coins that have the foundation to actually succeed in the future. And none of these, tokens, the actual foundation that they're providing, like solid coins. And I would stay away from a lot of these, tokens that are just built on a, Ethereum network. But the coins that are really, or the cryptocurrency that's providing the foundation for these tokens to be created on, and start a spreadsheet. Start jotting down everything you can and learn everything you can about them. On the fundamental side, and kind of look at the chart and just analyze the chart on the technical aspect side of it. But and those coins should be the ones that you should really follow, and stay away from these hypes. That you see coins going up, 300-400%, and then come in crashing. Stick to a handful of coins. Maybe 15 coins that you follow. Maybe start at 3, kind of work your way up, finding these good coins that have a very good outlook. That's what I would recommend. If you're new, you definitely want to be involved in this cryptocurrency market. That's the best way to kind of build that knowledge. And then you have those 10 coins that the ins and outs over time. You're not going to know the ins and outs of them right away, but over time you will. And you have 10 coins, and those 10 coins are the ones that you believe in and the ones that you would trust, and you're going to wait for the right setup to happen. And when those opportunities present the right setup, then you're able to execute that trade and be profitable. If you're just hopping on any trade that's out there, you're not going to be profitable. I'm sorry. You could make a little bit of money here and there, but that's basically it. All right, let's see. But I do got to get going, and I do apologize. I want to thank everybody for joining. You guys have been awesome, especially spending your Friday with me. I mean, it's hopefully everybody has a great weekend. But, this is Jonas, aka Crypto Trader, in Crypto Trader's Room, which is a place where we eat, drink, sleep, dream, trade, and invest in digital currencies. And make sure to stay connected with us on Steam, at Twitter, as well as Facebook. And if you haven't done so already, please click on that subscribe button, as well as the post notification. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Peace and love. And let's see, one more question from Sarah. Okay, just a comment. But yeah, not a problem, Sarah. Anytime. Cheers, guys. Enjoy your day. Be safe. Peace and love, and and happiness and positive vibration. Take care. Thank you.